the shotgun, alongside the double-barreled variant. While an odd fit for medieval combat, Doom's former totems of power would be sorely missed if absent. And so it transpires. A twin-barrel transplant across space and time. The shotgun replaces the erstwhile pistol as the player's default weapon, and the double-barrel variant provides more firepower once discovered. Like with Doom, they are the workhorses of the game's combat. Effective at close range, with abundant ammunition, and relatively forgiving when it comes to aim. One key difference is their power. Doom's shotgun, and particularly the super shotgun, could tear through groups with ease. But the pace of combat in Quake is the key to success, and failure to do so properly leads to rapid punishment. Most enemies are capable of powerful melee attacks, meaning that getting too close is dangerous. Getting trapped in a corner can mean being torn to shreds. Whether it's a sword, chainsaw, or sharpened claws, there is always a very strong incentive to keep out of arm's reach. The player's melee option is rather weak by comparison. The legendary earth-shaking hammer from the design documents transformed into a gun-butt melee attack in early versions, before finally changing again into a blood-stained axe. Sadly, there's little reason to use it. With shotgun ammunition so plentiful and weak damage, it's nothing more than a last resort. Ranged weapons define Quake's combat, but some fit the theme more than others. The next tier of weapons on offer are a mite more medieval, and a departure from a typical machine gun, if similar in function. The nail gun and super nail gun mirror the shotguns, with the latter dealing more damage at the cost of higher ammunition consumption. Both shoot nails at a high rate, peppering opponents with perforating projectiles. An effective means to dispatch most threats, as long as your ammunition holds out. One interesting aspect of both the nail guns is their use of physical projectiles when shooting, of finite speed and with visible travel. Again. As the manual states, thou canst not kill that which doth not live, but you can blast it into chunky kibbles. Jibbing returns from Doom, and this time, it's chunkier than ever. Should you deal more damage than necessary to kill an enemy, they'll disintegrate into a shower of fleshy pieces and blood particles. A satisfyingly gory resolution. This is something that comes into play often with Quake's addition of a new power-up. Quad damage. As its name suggests, you'll deal 4 times the normal damage for its relatively short duration. A blue glowing effect which turns even the meekest of weapon into one which will rip enemies apart. Similarly explosive, Quake's rocket launcher shares its explosive ammo with the grenade launcher, and offers better long-range ability with straight-flying rockets that detonate on impact. It's a little more dangerous to use in close quarters. With instant explosive, your jumps could be massively magnified. And if you timed it just right, you could fling yourself far further than expected, able to reach areas previously off limits. This phenomenon gave birth to the term rocket jumping, and ushered in an era of advanced FPS movement. The weapon selection is rounded out with the Thunderbolt, an electric option that shoots a continuous beam of lightning. It is capable of dealing a large amount of damage very quickly, but it does demand good aim, as in order to make the most of the weapon, you must track your target. No need to lead, and lower penalty for missed shots, but you are left exposed. A trade-off compared to the blind fire capability of the rocket launcher. The most important thing to remember is that electricity and water don't mix. One of the many compromises made during development. Luckily, the level design saw no such concession, and within Quake's atmospheric halls lie some clever new tricks. As Doom improved on Wolfenstein's key hunting labyrinths with more varied architecture, Its experience ensured that Quake's 3D realms were easy to navigate. Despite the potential for this new verticality to disorient the player, most of Quake's levels are intuitively laid out, getting lost, needing to pause and ask for directions, and almost unaware of its well-honed design. Some hints are more explicit, of course. Text cues make an occasional appearance for anything remotely puzzling, and if all else fails, big arrows point the way. Secrets are a returning favourite, and there are plenty to conceal many secrets, but also impose a time limit on your exploration. Linger longer than your breath can hold, and you'll start to choke. Slime and lava pools also feature, but swimming in those is particularly ill-advised. Another major enhancement was to the level interactivity. The use key absent, with the spacebar now serving as jump. Instead, buttons and doors are actuated by simply walking into them. Intuitive, if lacking the positivity of the key press. Interactive elements were made more dynamic too. Buttons physically depress, instead of Doom's simple texture change. And doors now split elegantly in the middle, parting horizontally as you pass through. The ability to move objects horizontally opened up the potential for travelling platforms, as well as straightforward elevators, capable of carrying the player on a set path through a